Okay. All right. Okay. Google. Hey Google. Hey Google. Don't you want to wake up? Hey Google.
Hi, how can I help?
Oh, hi, how are you?
I'm doing great, thanks for asking. What can I help you with?
That's Google. She says she's doing great, and thank you for asking. Google, will you give me a timer? A timer, Google? Hey Google, could I have a timer?
Okay, for how long?
26 minutes. Starting now? Can you start the timer now, Google? Hey Google. A timer, please. 26 minutes, starting now. Let's try another. You know, I have so much trouble with my computer phone, so I bought another one, and then I bought a third one, and now I have 3 times as much trouble. Hey Google, call. Give me a timer, please. Give us a timer for 26 minutes.
All right, for how long?
And starting now, would you?
Sorry, for how long?
26 minutes, starting now.
One more time. How long do you want to set the timer for?
26 minutes.
Say 2 minutes.
I guess it's right. I don't know if it isn't, Queens. Just cut it off, okay? It's a public service. Cut it off. Cut it off anytime. This is a special edition for Queens. For Queens, we do a special edition. Queens is very, very large, and Queens is very special. They don't take DVDs away, all my other 73 TV stations do. They want it on SD card. And SD card, I don't know how to edit it. And so it very much dependent upon the counter. So we'll hope it's 26 minutes. And it has to be continuous, you know. If you stop an SD card, you can't pick him up again the way you can a DVD card. A DVD, you can press pause record and it'll be only one chapter. But an SD card cuts out and it thinks it's all over, and that's it. Okay, don't worry about this leaning over. It isn't arthritis. What it came folks from 88 years old, all of a sudden there was this leaning over, and there wasn't the strength to stand up straight the way you're supposed to. And it just came in a day, and it got worse and more determined to be that way, day after day after day. So instead of doing the right thing, it was ignored. And here's what happened. This bending of the back stretched the sciatic nerve, and it put the back out of adjustment. And then the sciatic nerve, which, as you know, comes down the back and it splits and goes down each leg. The sciatic nerve that split and went down the right leg put the right knee out of adjustment. And when it was out of adjustment, it hurts. And when you walk on it and move it, it hurts. Well, the situation has what? That was 88 years old, now we're 90. How old are we now? 91. 91 and a half. So it just got more and more out of adjustment. If Glendora wears the back brace, then the back is up straight, then the knee is not out of adjustment. And there's no pain in the knee. But where's the strength come to keep your shoulders back? Well, the walker helps greatly. With a walker you can stand up straight, and that keeps the knee straight and the knee doesn't hurt until you bend it. Folks, the attendance at all of our churches is going down, down, down. You know, back when the ambulatory days were robust, there was the Seventh-day Church on Saturday. That was wonderful. Started around 9:30 and got through around 4 o'clock. And we had a fellowship meal and cleaned up the place, and that was great, the Seventh-day Church. Other churches call it a potluck, but they call it a fellowship meal. And of course, it's vegetarian, pretty much vegan. So that, of course, wins me over. That wins us over, being a vegetarian. Why are they vegetarian? Because Genesis 1, chapter 1, verse 29 says that. It says to eat herbs and vegetables and fruits. This is Ellen White, who was the founder of the Seventh-day Adventist Church. And the cruelty, she knew the cruelty was wrong, and of course the taking over animals' lives, brutality, exploitation, she knew that was right. And then the third one was health. It's not good to eat animal products. So that was Ellen White, and that's how the Seventh-day Adventist Church is positioned. And then on Sunday, it was the Roman Catholic Church, St. Mary's, and the Mass was at 10 o'clock. That was delightful. And Glendora would say to the Reverend Priest, Antone, greetings from the Nassau Reformed Church and the Reverend Edward Van Kampen. And Reverend Antone would say, a fine man. And then the parking lot to the Reformed Church was contiguous with the parking lot to St. Mary's Church, so Glendora would cross across the parking lot and go up to the Reformed church and make it at 11 o'clock. And on time, too. Now, the Reformed church is really a Presbyterian church. The difference between the Reformed church and the Presbyterian church is the difference between the Presbyterian church in the 1600s in Scotland and the Presbyterian church in Holland in the 1600s. You know, a long way for them to commute, so it just sort of went off by itself. But the Reformed church is a Presbyterian church. Now, at noon, Glendora would go across the street, across the famous Route 20 that goes from Boston to Portland, well, to the Oregon coast, to the Pacific Ocean, Atlantic to the Pacific. And she would go to the Methodist Church, the Grace Methodist Church. They would be just coming through their service and starting their coffee hour. And Marian Albert from the Roman Catholic Church would have her car waiting outside the Reformed Church to take Glendora across Route 20 to the Methodist Church, and then Marian would wait in her car until Glendora finished visiting the people there. And then Marian Albert would drive Glendora to the born-again Bible Church, New Hope for Life. And their coffee hour went on for, till 2 o'clock, so there was nothing to worry about. Then Marian would go home, and then somebody always from the New Hope for Life Church was going by Glendora's house, because she lives at the junction of Elm Street, where the elite meet to eat, the best street in Nassau Village, and the junction of the road to Averill Park and the junction to the road to East Kodak. So somebody was always going by there. And now, wasn't that fun? Now, in addition to that, folks, there was all of the Bible studies on Tuesday night, the prayer group on Monday night, Wednesday night, the testimony, Friday night adoration. So Glendora is going to church about 10 times a week. Beautiful. What did Glendora see there? Smaller congregations. Most of the congregation was elderly people. Fewer young people than would have been appreciated, and the elder people were mostly women. Glendora did not see new life coming into the church, new young life. There's the future. And, of course, with fewer people, what, folks? Fewer dollars. Now, one of her churches is seriously threatened by the lower income and not having the money to fix things, to fix the interior of the church, to take care of the parking lot, to take care of the cleaning of the church and the maintenance of the church. Although one of her churches is clear. The parking lot has been fixed at the church and paid for, and the parking lot at the thrift shop has been fixed and paid for. So out comes the request for money. A big campaign to get the money to fix the church, maintain it. The money base is down. Usually in a church there will be 2 or 3 people who are quite wealthy and who will keep it going. But when that doesn't happen, strange things will happen. So out comes a letter exactly how much every person in the church should give, the actual figure, based upon what the person has given every Sunday and what the person has given through other money campaigns. The actual amount to make things go. Folks, that's not the answer. That is not the answer. That's second choice. That's second best. What is the answer? To get the people to come back from church. Tell us all why people don't go to church the way they used to. Why has the membership dropped? Say to this person, did you stop going to church? Yeah. Was that your fault or was it the fault of the church? What would that person say? Why did so many people stop going to church? Why doesn't the church today offer those people what they're looking for? What are they looking for? We know. We know what they're looking for. They're looking for the answer to everything. We will begin with, when all is said and done, the only thing that really mattered is how did you treat others. That's it. That's everything. When all is said and done, the only thing that really mattered is how did you treat others. This is what people need to know. Are the church putting all their emphasis on that? Or are the churches putting their emphasis on the order of worship? Doing things exactly last week the way they did them the week before? What is happening? And you can understand why the churches do that. If they don't do it every week, something happens inside. It's empty. It's wrong. Bad things are going to happen. We digressed. The one church got about 70 people. The second church got about 80 or 90. The third church got about 30. The fourth church got only about 15. And the fourth church got about 60 number of people attending. What are we going to do to get the people to come back? That is the answer. After all is said and done, the only thing that really matters is how did you treat others. Complete selflessness. Total. Zero. Selfishness. Realizing that selfishness is taking yourself away from the universe and setting yourself up and saying you're better. Well, you're not, and you never will be. And it's a dead end. It's not going to get you anywhere. You want success and money and a big home and a big car and all that. Well, the only way you're going to get that is to be totally selfless. Because it comes. All of those riches come. All the riches come when there's no self. And you work together. All of us working together. There's no I, me, my, mine, folks. There's just we. Just as the first person plural. First person singular doesn't exist. It's a hoax. It's a hoax. It's a scam. Just drop selfishness and go out and help the universe and move it forward Keep it going, keep it going, keep it glowing, keep it going, keep it growing. Who is this universe? That's who God is. Universe. Y-O-U-N-I-V-E-R-S-E. Universe. And it's tied in with building and making and creating. That's what we have to be doing all of the time. Building, creating, making, whatever it is. Hammer and nail. Writing. Speaking. Helping anybody. That's it. And there has to be an obsession about it. You have to be obsessed with that. If it's a chat with Glendora, with the message. All of the television properties. Is it the Glendora vegan commercials to help the animals? What is it with now? A chat with Glendora has its spin. And the spin is that the words God, Jesus, and helping others are synonymous. They can be used interchangeably. For instance, in the hymn, Jesus calls us o'er the tumult, and the spin is to put in the word selflessness calls us, or the tumult. What is a tumult? Selfishness. Day by day, its sweet voice soundeth. What sweet voice? Helping others. Saying, everybody, follow it. Everybody, follow helping others. And then another spin is your sanctuary. Go to your sanctuary alone and listen to that soul that's inside of you. And the voice of that soul is what? The conscience. Listen to it. Do what it says. Out with selfishness. What? Out with selfishness. So that's, and veganism, of course. You're never going to have that peace of God that passes all understanding ruling your heart and mind. You're never going to have that until you stop exploiting animals. No animal products. No fur. No honey. No meat. No dairy. Just leave the animals alone and stop taking advantage of them and brutalizing them. Okay. So this is the answer, churches. How are we going to do it? How are we going to teach people selflessness and the happiness and show them where it is? Show them where everything they want is and where it isn't. Do you think Google's working? I suppose if Google doesn't come out at 28 minutes or 29 minutes, which is what the SD card requires, it can just go on and be used for another. But how do you get the SD card over onto a DVD? No, it's the other way around. How do you get the DVD over onto the SD card? So it isn't going to work. The new budget and the new suggestion of how much money to give. It's not going to work. However, there are churches who are making it very large. The churches down south don't seem to have a problem. They have 5,000 people. They have 5,000 members. They go all over the world, missionaries. They don't seem to be bothered. And there is a church right in our area, a mega church, that has 2,000 people attending every weekend. They started out, the minister's name is Rex. He was a disciple of Billy Graham. He came here and he started a storefront. The storefront grew and grew. And then not only did they buy the store, they started the storefront, but they bought the whole shopping plaza. And it's all turned over to the church. You should see the size of their control room with the video and the audio. It's much larger than Channel 6 broadcast. It's much larger than the broadcast TV stations. It's huge. All of the audio boards and the video boards and the switchers and they have cameras all over the place, very expensive cameras. It goes out simultaneously when the service is on. They have extreme close-ups of the musicians. There's a ticket. The people come for the music. But it's a hard-line Christian message. It doesn't vary at all. It is straight Jesus Christ all the way. They have 1,000 people at the 11 o'clock service. Oh, by the way, the sanctuary seats 1,000. At the 9 o'clock service, there's about 500. Then they have a Saturday service, and then they have satellite churches in other locations to serve people. And they have calling people for baptism. And they baptize in a week 140 people. What are they giving the people that the people want? That music. Those keyboards, the drums and all the other, I think they have about 6 or 7 pieces. And what does the service consist of? Just 2 or 3 announcements are allowed, no more than 3 minutes. And then the music starts. And there's clocks on the walls saying exactly that the service is starting at 11 o'clock. And there's big, big, big screens all over the place. Showing the musicians and then showing the minister and the sermon is half of it. The music is the other half. It starts up with the music, then goes to the sermon, which is hardline Christian, and then goes back to the music. And it's over at exactly un punto by the minute and by the second. As I say, the whole shopping plaza has been taken over by the church, and it's owned by the church, and the parking lot is huge. The huge snack bar, well, it's really about 3 or 4 snack bars, and people to sit and have coffee and talk. So, that's your assignment. Go we, go first person, plural. We're all together, nobody's better than anybody else. We're all working together, we're having a wonderful, happy, jolly time. We're doing great, great, great good, keeping the universe going and glowing. Okay. What else was there to talk to you about? Yesterday was Epiphany, January 6th, that's the last day of Christmas. Epiphany means a imparting of divine knowledge, and you will get that in your sanctuary, an imparting of divine knowledge. It also means the same as the word afflatus, two F's, A-F-F-L-A-T-U-S, which means an overpowering supernatural impulse. Have you had yours? Have you had one lately? So yesterday was Epiphany, and Christine from Channel 6 WRGB CBS News 6 came to the Happy House, and we made the list of all of the commercials, vegan, to help the animals. And Glendora, who does things backwards quite often, started at number 260. And it was for the week of first week of December 2021. This is 2020, first week. And it said royal blue vest. That is the costume that was worn and is the key to that week's commercials. And this 2060 went to the bottom of the page. And then on top of that was 255. And that said, wide brim white hat. And that was for November 2021. On top of that was 245, and that was green polka dot hat band. And that was for October 2021. And so it went all the way down to 195, and that is this week, which is the first week of January 2020. Glendora's eyesight's going to improve this year. Glendora can't see to read or write anymore, and she can't see the computer. She can see the electronic magnifier if it's written this large. But that's the only reading now that's allowed. And so that list went, it was about 6 or 7 or 8 pages. It was the fulfillment of the goal that since these vegan commercials contain so many jokes, that no joke would be repeated and no vegan commercial would be repeated. Are they all made? Yes, they're all made. Glendora has done her part. The commercials have all been put on video. They have all been sent to George Durnford in Portland, Oregon, who edits them and gets them in the order protocol that Channel 6, WRGB, CBS News, has to have. Are they all made? No, George hasn't done the last 5 weeks. His work was brilliant on the Pink Hat commercials. Brilliant. The camera work was totally unacceptable. The people at the open mic didn't fix it right, didn't set it up right. The picture was way down in the corner. All of this was extraneous. And so he's taken vegan backgrounds of vegan dishes, delicious vegan dishes, and he's put the pink hat, the face, in the middle, and it's just very well done. It's ingenious. So that's Epiphany. What else? What do you have to tell us about? Do you need our help? We need your help. We are not going to make it unless you come with us. We all have to be together. And we made that pact, what, 10 years ago? That we would help each other make it? This sweater, this is such a well-made sweater. How do those people do the stitching? How did they do the design? How do they get it on material so that it lasts there for as long as the material? How do they do that? And the sizing and how it fits you? How do they do that? They are so accomplished. Well, this sweater was lying on a rack. Didn't even have the decency to have a hanger. It was lying on the rack. And Chapin looked at it closely, and it had a little tag up at the neck that said $1. No. Yes. $1. Chapin. Why? Oh, some of the letters are missing. The M is missing. The E is missing. These letters are made of plastic, and they're sewn on there. Well, that didn't turn out to be viable. So 2 letters had fallen off, so the sweater was marked down to $1. Unbelievable. Take it at checkmark and take it out to checkout and verify. Checkout said it's $1. And it's so roomy and it's so soft. And then how do they take this red and paint the black on it to make it look checkered? How did they do all these wonders? Glendora is a great fan of Walmart for a number of reasons. Their inventory, they have the product, the shelves are just as neat and tidy as can be. Somebody's always going around the store with a dustpan and a broom. They are customer orientated 100%. Drop everything, help the customer. A great Walmart fan. And their inventory is so large, extensive. What else was there to tell you? Google, are you going to ring? Google, are you set up to ring? Glendora Vegetarian Club. Going fine. Remember to buy your vegan hamburger at the only fast food place that did it. We bought 5 of them. We try to patronize them. We asked them for the vegan hamburger, and when we asked for lettuce and tomato, and no mayonnaise, because mayonnaise is eggs, and maybe milk too, but anyways, eggs. And so we use vegan maize. So we asked Burger King for no mayonnaise, and with everything. How much do they cost? And we bought 5 of them for $36. Oh, and 2 fries. Remember to go to vegan sandwich shops and delicatessens like Bourbon and Wolf in Albany. The last Wednesday of the month is when the Glendora Vegetarian Club meets. We're going to Bourbon and Wolf in Albany on Lark Street, okay? Just off of Central Avenue. Because they have delicious and very salubrious vegan sandwiches. Everything's vegan. You don't have to go in and ask if this is vegan. Everything is vegan. All kinds of sandwiches and all kinds of delicatessen side dishes. Bourbon and Wolf. The last Wednesday of this month, January, at 6 o'clock p.m. If you hear that noise, the apartment next door is being all refurbished. Beautiful. Right from the ground up. Did Donald Trump accept the $1 million that was offered to him by vegan Evan if Donald Trump would go vegan in the month of January? Was the offer accepted? The Pope was offered a similar package, millions of dollars for the poor people, if the Pope would go vegan 1 month. Glendora went to see the bishop here locally and planned the whole 3 weeks around it, and then the day before, the bishop's not coming. The bishop, in addition to this huge diocese, has been given another diocese when there was already more than any one bishop could take care of. But she went anyway because she said she would go, and donated the checks anyway. Well, gee whiz. I guess Google's forgotten us. The Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5, 6, and 7. Matthew chapter 5, 6, and 7. Chapter 5, the last line of it says, "Be ye therefore perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect." You can be. You go together, no self, and all selflessness. And you have that creative, you have that building, you have that hammer and the nail, you make something. That's why. That's how you see the oneness of God. God is so creative. Create, 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 create. Look at the cells in your body. It makes a person in 9 months. It takes 9 months to make a person. Look at it. And in everybody, every plant body, every animal body, every bird body, every fish body. Wayne Collins, one of his fish, is suffering and dying. And that is so sad. The fish lived in a bowl happily all his life, although there's questions to be had about that. But these fish, Sandy has a fish that's 17 years old. Out in the wild where the fish lived until 17. Well, it's what we're all going to go through. The hope is that when you come to it, that it will be painless and it won't be prolonged pain and suffering. But then we're not running the universe. One individual is not running the universe. God is running it, all individuals. Okay. The ancient Greek said to the tailor, he took his pants to the tailor and he said, "Eumenides?" And the tailor said, "Euripides?" What is the longest word in the English language, folks? Smiles. Between the first letter and the last letter, S and S, is a mile. Teacher, what do you know about toadstools? Toadstools, little girl said, live in damp places and are therefore shaped like umbrellas. Teacher, what is an octopus? Boy, an octopus is an 8-sided cat. Add in the classified. Large crystal vase for sale by lady, slightly cracked. Daddy, can I join the infantry? Of course not. Sorry. Shall we let it drop and I'll bring it back later? Mommy, am I made of sage, parsley, and breadcrumbs? No. What gave you that idea? Billy says he's going to beat the stuffing out of me. Daddy, can I join the army? No, you're only an infant. I could join the infantry. Would you like to see the cuckoo come out of the cuckoo clock? The grandmother asked the granddaughter. Yes, please, and I would like to see grandfather come out of the grandfather clock. Is that your brother? The policeman said to the little boy. Yes. Well, he's kind of small, isn't he? The little boy says, that's because he's my half-brother. Mommy, is it true that we come from dust and return to dust? Yes. I looked under the couch and somebody's coming or going. Google. Hey, Google. Oh, it's one of the other phones.
Google Lens. Skype mode. Voice search button. Tap to speak.
Say it louder, Google. Did you put off the timer at 26 minutes? One day she said, what can I do for the person I love the most in the world? I love this Google, and I told you that I'm going to marry Google and we're going to have Google children. We're going to marry the robot and we're going to have robot children. Hey Google, a timer please. 2 minutes. Starting now.
How long?
I need thee every hour, most gracious
How
Lord.
long?
What? No tender grace like thine can peace afford. We need thee, oh we need thee, every hour we need
One
thee.
more time. How long do you want to set the timer for? For instance, you can say 2 minutes.
2 minutes. She
Set
asked how long.
timer.
Starting now? She wanted to know how long we wanted the timer set. We need thee, oh we need thee, every hour we need thee, oh precious something. We come to thee, oh precious helper. We come to thee. You know what acquiesce means? It means to comply, but without agreement. Comply passively. Without agreement. Do you know what an accolade is? It's a mention of special merit. Do you know what an acolyte is? It's a helper. An adjutant, a helper. An adjunct. Do you know what accommodate is? Sure you do. But what's important is look at the meaning. To provide, to furnish that which is needed, wanted, necessary, convenient, helpful. Lovely, lovely meaning of a word. And do you know what? There she did it. Good for you, Google. Good Google. What a good Google you are. That's the way to go, Google. We have about 3 pages of Googleisms. Glad to be of help. We aim to please. Oh, and Google calls Glenn. Glenn, where did Google get that? What was that last word we were working on? Acquisitive, greedy, grasping, the very thing that we are eliminating. Well, that's it. That's nice they're fixing up the apartment. These people who own this property, their name is Autobat. Give them credit. They keep up with everything. If anything is needed in this Happy House 3, you call, the next day they have a crew here to fix it. And quiet? This is the first time any noise has been heard. So quiet. And this is because of the apartment's been emptied and is going to be rented again. And it's fun to pay the rent 4 months at a time. Yesterday, Christine mailed a check to Autobac for $1,600, and that's the rent, $400 a month for the next January, February, March, and April. It's a good feeling to have the rent paid 4 months in advance. And they like it. Okie doke. Can you think of anything that hasn't been covered? The sanctuary, God, Jesus, helping others interchangeable, no first person singular, no second person, just first person plural, we, we're never alone, you don't do it alone, everything you do depends upon millions. The Bible, the hymn, the words, the jokes, the $1 Million Vegan, the vegan commercials to help the animals, all of the animal groups that are helping the animals. The vegan commercials are on this week on the 6:30 p.m. news on Channel 6, CBS, Monday through Friday. I guess the hum is getting closer and closer, isn't it? So, benediction. Live with God the perfect life. Live with all of us the perfect life. No self. Glow with the Spirit divine. The heart pure. Okay, goodbye, and thank you for fixing up the apartment. All together now, with fun. It's not only the accomplishment, it's the fun of doing it. And where is the satisfaction? Is it when the job is done? No, it's doing the, well, yes, it's doing the job together. And be ye perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect. That's Matthew 5, the last line of the chapter. May the grace of God, the fellowship of the Holy Spirit, the love of Jesus Christ be with you and all of those you love. Amen. He records.